Hello and welcome to Tip Tuesday. This is Mike Lynn, corporate metrologist here at IndySoft, and today we're going to do a little bit more deep dive into test points and some of the things you can do with it. So for our example today, we're going to be calibrating a thread plug gauge, go no go. It's a quarter 20, and we're going to set up our setup grid here to enter in our nominal data that we're going to know about ahead of time. So our best wire size that we can calculate or pull from the charts is entered here as a standard value. Our measurement over wires that were our target value is here. Neither one of these need tolerances, but our final pitch diameter should be toleranced, and we have a formula for calculating that based on the results of our measurement over wires and our wire sizes. So we open this up here. This shows you our formula builder. So L1 is pulling in from whatever value is entered into the results on line 1. L2, same thing. That comes from L2. So basically what we're saying here is we're saying whatever was entered into L2 minus 3 times whatever is entered into L1 minus this value. Now this value, if you've done thread plugs before, you'll recognize this is the normal 60 degree constant of 0.86603 divided by the pitch, which is 20. So instead of putting that math in here, I just put in the value. So we're just running the normal standard formula for the pitch diameter here. So on our setup grid, which is what the text would see, they're just simply going to be entering in values. So if we run this calibration event, jump right to our results. If we're using our best wire size, maybe we're not. Maybe we're using something slightly different. 0.02885, let's say. And our measurement over wires, 26081. Now, typically I would go ahead and mark these as report of value. We don't need tolerance on those. So you can either do that and have a report of value at the end or leave them undone. It's totally up to you how you want to do that. But on this value right here, we have to seed it. These formulas don't actually fire until there's a database trigger in the processing that is called before post. So after you've entered the data and exited before it goes into the database, that's when these formulas are fired and they actually process. So typically what I'll do is I'll just hit 0 and exit out. So it's calculated a pitch diameter that we can see as intolerance. Same thing with our no-go. And that was 0.26570. If we hit 0 and then an up arrow, you can see that's slightly out of tolerance. So this is one way that you can do it, where you've got separate lines for each of this data. So I've set up another one in a slightly different format. Same kind of gauge, but in this case we're setting it up horizontally, where we're entering in all the data on one line. So as you can see here, the formula is slightly different. We're looking at N2 and N1 and N3. So we've got these values here, these variables that come from the extra number fields. So if we go to the results grid here, you can see I've got these 3 fields. So if I go here and modify custom, you can see that the pitch is extra number 3. The wire size is extra number 1, and this is going to be extra number 2. So you can call these fields whatever you want. Now, in this case, when we run the calibration event, as you can see, we've predetermined with pitch. We know what the pitch is going to be. So now all we have to do is enter in the actual wire size that we used, 0.02887. The measurement over the wires, 0.26081. And same thing here, if we hit 0 to seed it, when we exit, it calculates that PD. Same thing here. We use the same wire size here. And our measurement over wires is 0.26570. We see that, and you can see it calculates it. Now this is a little different because I use a different wire size, but as you can see, this can be simple or complicated. It depends on how you want to do it. So it's entirely up to you that you can do the same thing in a couple of different formats as to how to make things easier. So hopefully this will help you with your test point scripting and using the formulas. Have a great week.